Hello and welcome to my running channel. Basically, I'm not really going to have a header for this one because this is kind of just a bit of a short, but maybe we swing it into like the training plans and all this lot. But today I'm running åsaneløpet 10k. So it's a place just outside of Bergen. It's a 10k race. They do a 5k race today, but I just thought that a 10k race might suit my legs a little bit better now. As it's only 2 weeks since I did the Bergen City Marathon. Don't get me wrong, I want to give it a full send as best as I can. But for you that don't know basically my marathons that I've done, or the last marathon training block I did was on using the chatgpt training plan that it set out with me, following Lee Grantham's running philosophy and everything like that. And it kind of got me, not to a marathon PB, but my marathon PB was in London, and that was 4:12 2 years ago. And then this year at Bergen City Marathon, I ran a 4:20. But it was also a 28-minute PB from the last time I ran Bergen City Marathon 2 years ago. And this time it was all kind of basically done on heart rate, so I wasn't running to pace. So like I say, although I didn't kind of blow up, I didn't blow up in this marathon either. I ran a 3-minute negative split on a very challenging course. So I was really happy with all of that, like training block. So I have entered a new training block, but that started basically 1 week ago, and we're straight into a 10k race. So we'll see what happens. So like I say, we're 2 weeks after my last marathon, so there is still fatigue in the legs and things like that, but the last couple of runs, like easy runs I've done, my heart rate has gone back to normal, because the few previous runs before that, they were averaging about 10 beats per minute above. So I knew that the marathon fatigue was still there, but we're getting a little bit better, and I want to kind of push it. So I'm not pace driven anymore, I'm heart rate driven. So I have actually gone through with ChatGPT for this race as well, and pretty much asked it from what my marathon heart rates were and all that lot. It could work out or it said it could work out lactate threshold, and it's kind of similar to what my Garmin actually says my lactate threshold is. So I know that we get told take it with a pinch of salt or whatever, but there is scientific ways of taking the routes to get your lactate threshold from certain efforts and things like that. So that's what we've done, and it's given me a plan, because the plan today is to PB, and my 10k PB is 47 minutes 17 seconds. And that was in an old London Marathon training block where I was pushing too hard, and I know that. And I was driven by pace on those training runs. And this time I'm heart rate. So it's given me a plan of action for this race on how to attack it. And it should hopefully negative split again. And I don't blow up in this thing. Because the big thing about my last marathon is I didn't blow up. Where in London I blew up and I struggled, and it was, pretty awful at certain points. In the in the Bergen City Marathon, the 30 kilometre to 35 kilometre block was my quickest, and that was the flattest section of the course. So really happy with how ChatGPT kind of got me on all of that. So plan of action today is to slowly build up the heart rates and all that lot. If it goes terribly tits wrong or tits up, you won't see this video. If it goes all right, you might. So we'll see what happens, because I put out a lot of these are my dreams, or this is what I'm trying to do, this is my ambition, and I haven't succeeded very well in these at the moment. So we'll see what happens. I was hoping for a sub 4 in the last marathon, didn't happen. I was hoping for sub this on the other marathon in London, didn't happen. let's see what goes on in this race today and that. But it will be executed out as ChatGPT has set it out, with my heart rates and the caps and all of that lot, which is how I perform best, really. I'm going to have obviously my Garmin on, and when we run off, it's not going to be like a run. It's going to be almost like on the training session. There you can put your workouts. I've done that, and I put my heart rate caps at certain kilometers of the race, so we start building and progressing, and then that's how we dig in and go at the end. So basically that's it. Let's go to basically where the start of the run is, and then just get ready for this. Going to be an exciting race, I think. There, it's the day after the 10k. Did say that in the first one you might not actually see what I did on the first one if it didn't go to plan. Now you're wondering what's going on because you see I've got another video, but it didn't quite go to plan. I didn't hit the sub 47, but I did go sub 50 and that, so I ended up on 49 minutes 4 seconds and 8 milliseconds or whatever it is. So I put that down as 49 minutes 5 seconds. Really enjoyed it though, but it didn't go to plan. You mean I had all the heart rates put into my my watch, and my heart rate just didn't want to play ball, basically. Not because I shot off stupidly quick or anything like that. You mean obviously the gun goes, we all start running, and I kind of did take it what I thought was calm. There was a woman in front of me talking to her friend saying that they're on 4:45 kind of pace, so I knew that was quick, so I kind of knew straight away he's back, and that because that's before your heart rate actually gets to the point where you need to be. You mean your heart rate hasn't stabilised at that stage of the race, but everyone's kind of does shoot off a bit quick, so I automatically dropped back. But my heart rate did spike and went crazy into 185 for some reason. I think probably just adrenaline, but obviously I eased back before that, so I knew it was a bit out, so then I kind of just dropped it back, but kept going. Obviously, you mean I didn't want to kind of go crazy, like crazy slow, but I wanted to keep a charge as such. So as I kind of ran, I could see that my heart rate was higher than the pace that I was looking for at that stage in the race. Now to get sub 47, I'm kind of looking on the 4:45 minute per kilometre, and the plan was to kind of go over that, 4:55 or whatever. So when I start seeing 5:15 on my watch, and my heart rate's high, I kind of knew that it wasn't quite sitting where it should be. So what I did is I just kind of stayed a little bit stable, and I had kind of put the heart rate beeps a little bit lower than what my cap should have been, just to give me a bit of leeway. So I was kind of okay with that. So I just kind of went with it and that, and then by the time after the 3rd kilometre, the heart rate was supposed to kind of go up a little bit more and all that lot, but I was already 7 beats over, so I was always kind of near enough getting onto threshold already then. So I just maintained it really and just kept going, and then I had like the 5k splits, and the 5k split was like 23 minutes and that, so but that's like an even split ish. But so what I did is I kind of backed off. Well, I was 2 minutes over basically. I could see that I was over on my splits for the 5k and that, but I didn't let it worry me or panic me and that, and I just knew that sub 47 was probably not going to happen that day, just because the heart rates were a little bit too high at that earlier stage than they planned to be. So then when I pushed on at the 5k, just kept maintaining it and just pushing along, and basically we just went for the next 5k, just running along, just maintaining the control of the run, and actually kind of just really kind of giving it some, to be honest. And it was a great run, and I maintained that kind of pace, and as you got quicker as the run went by, and I can put that in here. You can see how my splits kind of went quicker and quicker and quicker, and yes, the heart rate's going up, but I kind of just kept going, and I still even had a last push in the last case. So another, in my head, executed run, a well executed run, really. It's just going by what chatgpt says, and I know, like I say, it wasn't quite where the heartbeat should have been, and I'm not saying that if the heart rate was right, I would have got the actual plan as well, because it just didn't play ball. I'm 2 weeks out of the marathon as well, so there is marathon fatigue still in the system, and the body might feel fine, but there's still going to be some elements of fatigue there, and that's why you don't run marathons every week. So having that, it just, I really enjoyed that, and again I got to see how it is to run a race without blowing up, without collapsing halfway through the run as well, because there was no collapse. It was just a steady progression, and which is not normal for me, or hasn't been normal, because I haven't been doing it right. So I've learned a lot in these last 2 races, and I'm really happy with that. And there's something that chatgpt has taught me, and that's to kind of get me to do all of that anyway. So I'm really, really pleased with that. But that was just kind of run down on the thing. The run wasn't it wasn't flat either. So I think that took a bit out of it, or a bit out of me, and got my heart rate up a little bit higher than I wanted for those sections of the run, quite early. But it wasn't as bad as Bergen City Marathon and that. But it wasn't a flat course. But I didn't I got overtaken once in the last 4 kilometers. And I was clawing back at others along the way. So, I was overtaking people, but people weren't overtaking me, apart from the once. And I think that is what I kind of, what I needed. Because that's what, it just shows it was kind of ran well. People are dying in the later stages of the race, and I'm progressing. So I really take that as a really good kind of bonus. And that, so I'm going to leave that in there now. That was kind of how the race went for me. So really happy with that. But I'll dive in with some stats on the next bit, and we'll talk to you in a bit. So the easiest way to kind of tell you all the chatgpt and data stuff on what I got back from it is basically just to go through what I put into it, and then read out exactly what I wrote, and also read out the replies. Me and technology, unfortunately, isn't that well evolved, so I can do screenshots, as you've seen on my other videos, and I put data up or whatever, but I can't get like a rolling screen. So if anybody wants to give me tuition on that, message me in the comments below, because if could be a way that I can bring my my training plans up a bit more better, and a bit more interactive or whatever. So basically I took the screenshots on my Garmin of my heart rate, the pace, and the gradient of the run, obviously with my split times as well on the 5k, 10k, or it was just before 10k. There was a little mile bit, or a little measurement mat, almost like 200 meters from the end, and then obviously the 10K. So I sent it that, and I sent it what like the Garmin shows on the intervals of how I had my watch. So it has all like the heart rate of each kind of bit. Like I said before, I had like 1 to 2 kilometers. I had it at one set of BPMs, and then 3. I had it at another set, and then 3 till 6. I think it was another set of BPM. You know, all slightly going up as I mean up to the last. Basically empty the tank at 9, and all that lot. So here's what I wrote to ChatGPT. And like I said, before in other videos as well, what you put into ChatGPT is kind of what you're going to get out. It's got so much knowledge and information it can get and pick out from whatever, but it doesn't know what day it is. So you got to treat it like a baby when you're talking to it, but give it every bit, and it can get a bit frustrating, but give it every bit of information that you can, as precise as possible. It will come back with such an executed thing back to you. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable. You have to treat it stupid to get the best out of it. It's amazing. It's just, it makes me laugh on these things. And so this is what I wrote to it. So here's the race. Although the BPM chart doesn't really show it, but I did stay calm and was holding and stepping back, but the BPM didn't want to go as it should. The first spike really wasn't speed related, and was shocked. And I was shocked. It went so high even though I was remaining calm. I hit 5K 2 minutes over the split time we were judging, but I think the gradient caught me out as it definitely wasn't flat. I was going by notes for each section, i.e. relaxed, held back, flow, working but controlled, push and work, empty the tank. That was something that we kind of or ChatGPT had written in before at the different stages of the race. And I was reeling in others from 7K and only got overtaken once from then. I knew I had to work and keep controlled, even though my BPM was higher than it should have been. I knew early BPM didn't want to be normal, and when I saw the 5K split was out, I knew sub 47 was off, but went for the best time I could, being controlled, comfortable whilst uncomfortable. Today the benchmark is set again, and we know what time can be beaten. The marathon is probably still in my legs. I sent laptop stats and the app stats, as although the same, they look different on different screens. More volatile. Ha ha ha. Analyze this. That's what I do. So another thing with your screenshot from Garmin, the gradient looked really kind of peaky, where on the laptop it's more leveled out, although it does rise and that, but it just looked more peaky on the thing. So I sent both and let it kind of judge that and give that an analysis or whatever it is. So that's what I sent to ChatGPT, and this is what it replied. First thing, this was a much better executed race than your old PB attempt profile. Not because of the final time, because of how you got there. And honestly, your own analysis of the race is mostly correct. The big picture. Result. Official 49.04. Course clearly not flat. Elevation enough to materially affect heart rate and pacing. Marathon recovery status still relevant. What the data actually shows. 0 to 2K. You did hold back. This is important. Your pace, 5:04 per kilometer. Average heart rate, 163. This is not reckless. The problem wasn't pacing stupidity. The problem was your heart rate rose abnormally fast relative to effort. And you recognized it correctly during the race. The early spike, you said. The first spike really wasn't speed related. Looking at the graph, it believes me. Because pace is controlled. Heart HR spikes rapidly, then stabilizes. It does not correspond to a surge pattern. This is classic. Race adrenaline, incomplete recovery, residual fatigue, slight uphill loading early. Not that you blasted the start. That distinction matters. Then we go on to it. The course mattered more than we allowed for. This is the biggest miss in the pre-race prediction. And to be honest, I didn't realise it was going to be that hilly. We were running up and obviously over kind of footpaths, over like motorways and then back down. So then you've got those, they're quite steep, yeah? And then also underpasses as well on some of them. So there was them to be counted into, but we didn't really do that in the pre-race thing. So, so yeah, back at this. This is the biggest miss in the pre-race prediction. Your 5K, 25:06, and you immediately recognise sub 47 was off. Correct. But the elevation profile explains a lot of this, especially first half rolling elevation. Central climb section around 22 to 29 minutes, constant micro undulations. This is not a clean pace course. The most important part of the race, 7 km onwards. This is where the real analysis starts. You said I was reeling people in from 7 kilometers, and the data supports it perfectly. Look at this. Final 2.09 kilometers pace, 4:38 per kilometer pace. Average heart rate 185, maximum heart rate 192. This is commitment, controlled suffering, strong late race execution. This is massive. You did not fade. That is the key takeaway. In fact, you negative shifted effort significantly. Performance condition. Stayed negative throughout. That tells us fatigue still present. Body still not fresh. And honestly, this lines up perfectly with marathon still in the legs. Important lesson. Your threshold estimate is probably correct, but your race day usability threshold right now is affected by accumulated fatigue, incomplete sharpness recovery, and the terrain. That's why 175 to 180 happened earlier than expected, yet you still kept racing well. What I really like about this race, you did not mentally collapse when heart rate was higher than planned. 5K split was slower than hoped. Old version of me probably forces pace and blows up. Yeah, this version adjusted intelligently and raced the situation. This is genuine improvement. What this race suggests now, right now, yesterday. A flatter course, fresher legs with sharper speed. You are likely around 47 to 48 minute fitness right now, not 49 minutes. It's not, it would have been a PB at 47, but I was hoping to go a little bit under that. But we always hope, yeah? We are always trying to push more and kind of like think we're better than what we actually are. So, yeah. What's encouraging? The last 3 kilometers were your strongest psychologically. That matters because it means your aerobic base is carrying over correctly from marathon training, and you are not falling apart late. Honest conclusion. What went well? Controlled start, no panic pacing, strong second half mentality, paced past runners late, didn't implode when HR was wrong, finished aggressively. What held the time back? Course profile, marathon fatigue still present, HR elevated unusually early, not yet speed sharp again. The most important sentence. Today the benchmark is set again, and we know that time can be beaten. And chatgpt says, I agree, absolutely. And importantly, next time you won't be guessing anymore. You now know how your heart rate behaves post-marathon, how you respond over 10K, how to control the early phase, that you can race strongly late. My real takeaway, this was not a failed sub 47. This was successful return to racing with strong execution lessons. And honestly, the way you finished the race tells me. Once sharper, you absolutely can go under your old PB again. And so, that was ChatGPT's analysis of the data that I put in there on that one. And then I sent it a screenshot of my bit that the timing group gave me for the actual race, and then I wrote analyze this. So this is what he come back with. This screen actually tells a very important story about the race, and honestly, it's important. It does kind of go over a little bit again, if you know what I mean. It doesn't know what it said before as such. It will just repeat a bit, and I've said that in other videos too. But I repeat myself a lot as well, so I'll let ChatGPT off on that one. And so here we go. And honestly, it supports your feeling that the race was executed better than the raw finish time suggests. So it says the core number, my finishing time, and the average pace of the actual run was 4 minutes 54 for the whole race. The key detail: the first 5K, 25 minutes and 6 seconds. That's a pace of 5 minutes 01 per kilometer pace. Second 5 kilometers, 22 minutes 59.7, pace at between 4:35 and 4:36 kilometer equivalent. And that is a huge negative split, it says. And it is, yeah. This is the most important takeaway. You didn't just speed up a little. You ran the first half at 5:01, second half at 4:36. That's an enormous shift. That means it uses long words that I can't really talk or say. Physiologically, it means you had control early, you preserved energy, your aerobic system stayed stable enough to attack late. Most runners who missed their goal pace early mentally collapse. You did the opposite. You raced the second half. But here's the interesting bit. The split is actually too extreme for an optimal 10K. Not because the finish was bad, but it suggests you probably left some time in the first half due to terrain caution, HR caution, unexpected HR behaviour, marathon fatigue, uncertainty. Possibly, and that. So this is why we do these things, to learn and all this lot. So this is what I love about this. I'm not really a 10K racer. I've not really run 10Ks. So to blow this out it was great fun. So what I think happened early race, you saw HR rising higher than expected, rolling terrain, slower than planned pace. So subconsciously you protected the effort, which was smart given the circumstances. Then around 6 to 7 kilometers, you realised you still had strength, others was fading, you could actually race. And that's exactly when the second half split accelerated massively. Really important lesson. You now know something critical. Your aerobic base is stronger than your confidence currently allows, because you were still able to close hard at 185 to 192 beats per minute after a conservative opening. That's a strong sign. What this performance translates to on flatter terrain, fresher legs, better collaboration of early heart rate expectations is not the 49-minute runner profile. Then it goes again, telling me that I could probably do 47 minutes and all that lot. And obviously, again, another important point: you're still marathon fatigued. You're not in a dedicated 10K block. Coming from a marathon style aerobic work, yet still closed a sub 23 second half, 5K. You know what I mean? I want to do a 5K soon. Yeah, let's do that one, but give me a little bit of a chance to kind of get back to where I want to be. And that coaching conclusion. Again, what you got right: stay composed, heart rate didn't behave, didn't chase the early pace, used effort-based racing properly, strong late aggression, mentally competitive in the final third. What needs refining: collaboration into the terrain, understanding post-marathon behaviour, slightly more confidence in sustainability, discomfort, 3 to 6 kilometers. And that is right. I mean, I do need to kind of be aware now that I'm not having to put this stint in for another 15, 20k in a marathon. It's a shorter thing, and that's what I kind of want to get used to, and a little bit as well. And obviously my speed block is going to help on this. So the biggest takeaways: you did not expose. The race did not expose weakness. It exposed untapped pacing confidence, because once you committed late, the race changed completely. And honestly, the fact you only got past once over 7k tells me everything about how the race was unfolding around you. So yeah, really kind of happy with that. And that would, yeah, I can't really, do more really. It was just a great kind of confidence booster as well from ChatGPT. Not that I want it to kind of go, hey Neil, well done. I want it to treat me and get me in the right places and things like that. So very happy with how that went. So with ChatGPT, you have kind of a chance to do different chats with it, and different kind of subjects or whatever, and some of it was a sub 47k, 47-minute 10k pace chat, and that's what kind of had all that in there. So obviously I'm now in another block, which I will start talking about on some other videos at a later date. So I'm filling out some sheets, and so obviously I had to give it some data again about this run, the 10k in Osana. So I give it all of that, and it kind of come up with the same stuff again. Obviously what we've just talked about. And so then I did write to it. So coach is happy, although the BPM didn't go to plan. And it replies, yes, generally happy with race execution. And importantly, I'm happy for the right reasons, not just because you pushed hard. Why the race was good, that HR didn't match the original ideal. Correct. You climbed higher earlier than the textbook progression. But the key thing, you adapted correctly during the race, and that's the important thing. You said HR was already higher than expected, so instead of panicking or surging, you held effort steady. That was the correct decision. What happened because of that? Pace improved throughout the race. You kept passing people, no collapse, no death shuffle. Strongest pace came late. That is good racing. What would have made me unhappy if you had seen high heart rate, panicked, false pace anyway early, then you probably blow up around 6 to 7k. You didn't do that. Big realization from this race, this matters for the whole block. Your race HR is shorter events is simply higher than we originally tried to force. And we know, and now we know that with confidence, not guessing anymore. Well, the race actually showed you can sustain 175 average heart rate while still progressing pace. That's a huge finding. I wear the Garmin strap, chest strap as well, so it's not just getting it from my watch. It is on a chest strap, which gives more reliable heart rate data than the spiky watches, and so I'm always happy about my BPMs on these runs and things like that, and how it gets recorded. And what was it? So it carries on going. Why am I actually pleased? Because the race confirms the marathon wasn't a fluke. You have durability, controlled aggression, ability to finish hard. Those are marathon qualities. But there is still work to do. You are still relatively expensive aerobically at faster paces, climbing HR quickly early. That's what Wednesday sessions, the progression long runs, and the marathon works are going to improve. So then it's kind of, is an honest coaching verdict. If you had run 47 minutes but exploded late, I'd be less happy. And instead you ran intelligently, progressively, and competitively only 2 weeks after the marathon. So that's a solid starting point for a 25-week build. That's what we're going on to. So just a little one. I have a marathon planned in 24 weeks, and I will be kind of following ChatGPT along, and I will go, like I said, more into that on another video. It has kind of, because we've come off of the marathon block, it's progressed onto, or can use the data from that, and we are pushing up again. Same routines, but it's given me obviously more of what I wanted from a lead graph from style, especially in the marathon pacing sections in the long runs. But it's also given me a Google Sheets, and that is just mind blowing how it got onto that. But I mean, that will be on another video at some point. I just want to wrap this slightly longer 10k run up, basically. But that was my ChatGPT stuff, all from the data and that. After a great event, really happy that I entered that one and got out there running again, especially doing something that I'm not used to. And I mean, yes, I do long runs or whatever, but to hit a 10k race and that, and know that I don't have to kind of carry on after or whatever, you know what I mean? It was like, I can give it all I want, give it all you got. So it was a great time. I really enjoyed that one. So, yeah. Thanks for watching again. Something a little bit different. And that, if you can, please like, subscribe. You'll know when I'm, posting on another video again. Follow me on Instagram, Neil_dad_that_runs. Yeah, and I hope to kind of see you guys again soon in another video. Catch you guys later. Bye-bye.